Hello and welcome to Hopeful Consciousness. It's Paul here again, and I just wanted to kick off 2021 with an interesting topic I've been thinking about for some time, and doing a bit of meditation on it as well, just to try to get to the bottom of what is a truth, basically. So most of us tend to think there's a universal truth about something, that there is almost like a video camera in the sky that's looking down, and what that video camera records is the truth about something. And there's one set of events and one version that is ultimately true. And when we ask someone like, why don't you tell the truth, or this is what really happened at this event, and things like that, we're all looking at it from this observer perspective about what is true about a particular event. But the actual reality of things is, as far as I can see from my research I've done so far, is that there's many truths, and many of them can be true simultaneously, even though they can be in complete opposition to each other, which is a really tricky and odd concept to understand. It kind of goes in part with some of the quantum physics aspects of things, that the observer themselves is the person that creates the truth. So I'll give you an example here. I've got just a scrunched up red ball of packing tape. So I might say that's a red ball of packing tape. Now, if I throw that ball to my cat, he might go, no, that's a grey ball of packing tape because I can't see the colour red. Equally true. A fly might buzz overhead and look down and say there's many balls there because I have a segmented eye with many segments to it. I see many balls, which is the fly's reality. A snail might cross over that plastic ball and go, oh, it's really soft. It's really slippery on here, and I don't need to produce much mucus to glide across it quite smoothly. And then you can even take that to another extent of looking at it from the perspective of different dimensions as well. So again, ball here, I've drawn a little thing here, I hope you can make it out. Here's a little stick man. He's a two-dimensional being. So in this two-dimensional world, he would see the ball as a dot for when it's just resting on the surface, like you can see there. If it was passing through the surface, he would see a circle. But he wouldn't actually see the circle because he'd been looking at it from a straight angle there. So he would see a straight line. And then further as the ball passes through that plane, it would be a bigger circle, but he's just viewing a singular line as it passes up and down. So if you told Mr. Stickman here that this is a three-dimensional scrunched up ball of red packing tape, he would go, I don't understand that. I can't understand the concept of an extra dimension. And that goes into part and part of what we are really, in terms of what our truths are. So I, for example, will have an image of what I am like. I've created, as I call it, like a bubble of, this is my version of Paul in my head. This is what I hold to be true. He might be kind, considerate, caring, could even be, negative things in there, selfish, other bits and bobs. Now, that's my version of truth about me. Now I'm going to demonstrate this with Mr. Bobblehead over here. Now Mr. Bobblehead might come along, and I might have just walked into a shop in front of him, and I might have accidentally let the door go. So Mr. Bobblehead might have an initial impression that he's not a very nice guy. He let the door slam in my face. That becomes his kind of truth bubble, as I call it, about me. And I might have a very different truth bubble about Mr. Bobblehead. And then you might have Mr. Monkey, who comes along, remember this fella, and he will have a different opinion of me, because he might have hung out with me, had a laugh with me, played some games, spent a nice evening together. So he might say, yeah, that Paul, he's a nice guy. And the funny thing is, what we end up doing is we end up defending the concepts of our own truth to other people. So say someone tells Mr. Monkey, oh, that Paul's a really nasty fella. he's done this and this and this. You know, like you might see in the media about celebrities and things like that. Or that person's done this and this and this. Monkey's bubble of what Paul is shifts and changes if he chooses to accept and believe that. Now, we can spend our whole lives trying to defend these images of ourselves, which are these sort of, as I call it, these truth bubbles. So Monkey might come to me one day and say, oh no, I don't like you very much anymore, Paul, I've heard this about you, blah, blah, blah. And I might then spend a lot of my energy and time to change his truth about me, even though his truth is his own personal truth, all of which is equally valid as my truth. So there's basically millions of these truths going on in the world for every single assumption about every single thing, all simultaneously. So which ones are true? And here's the tricky and interesting concept at the same time. None of them are true, and all of them are true, kind of at the same time. And you might think, what on earth are you talking about, Paul? So all of them are true from our perspective. My version of Monkey is my version of him. That's my truth. That's what I've established, my beliefs, and that will have been honed over, you know, seconds or even a lifetime of different beliefs, different feelings, the society I've grown up in, and things like that. My society that I might live in might put Monkey in zoos, so I might think, oh, he's a zoo animal, and that might be my opinion of what's true about Monkey. So we can have a vast array of different truths, and none of them can be real, and they can all be real at the same time. Now I'll get to why none of them can be real, because all of these truth bubbles are basically constructs of the mind. They're all what we and our egos have created to be true about ourselves. But if you sit there and you spend a little bit of time quieting your mind down, try a little meditation, you'll find that when it comes down to it, when you look into what you really are, when you're sitting there in total silence, in total blackness, with no senses coming from your body, you are nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. There is nothing there. Sometimes you can get a feeling of love, but ultimately it's almost like the perfection of nothingness. So a great way to look at this is we can spend our whole lives trying to perfect this bubble image of the truth of ourselves, to make the version of Paul that I think exists in the world the best possible version in the world. And while that's great from a certain perspective to, you know, always try and improve yourself, at the same time it takes an enormous amount of energy, especially if you're trying to defend, like Mr. Bobblehead's angry view of me. I have to spend a lot of time to try and convince Mr. Bobblehead that I didn't mean to slam that door in his face, perhaps, and that I'm not a bad guy. And this is where, if you look at the bigger picture of what we are, we're looking at ourselves in what I would call like a broken mirror in a way. So we see ourselves having all these different flaws. So imagine a mirror on your wall. It's got loads of cracks underneath it. And we see this really distorted image of who we are. And we think we need to fix that mirror. We need to fix the cracks in that mirror, or fix the image in the mirror, rather, to solve and become the best person we can. But in reality, we're actually perfection underneath that mirror. It's just the lens that we're looking through, in this sense, the broken glass. The filter of our perceptions of our mind is distorting the real image. So you are perfection underneath all of that, perfect just the way you are. Yet, because we're looking at it through the perception of our mind, our beliefs, our ego, and everything, all of our senses and everything like that, are all distorting that perfection. So we see effectively a broken mirror that we think we need to fix. But the reality of it is, it's a far better position to be in to learn and understand that you don't need to fix the image that's in front of you on the mirror by, trying to tape over all the little cracks. You just need to understand you're already that perfection and try and move the lens out the way. So when you move the broken lens out the way, you can get in touch and reconnect with that perfect image of yourself. So there we go. That's a quick short little video for the start of 2021. Please do like and subscribe to our feed. There's going to be many more of these upcoming in the future, but that's just a little taste of how truth is not quite as rigid as you might imagine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye bye.